Welcome to episode 34 of The Player and the Journalist with Carson Harris and David Vick. In this episode, we are joined by a daughter of Tabernacle, New Jersey. The town has an estimated population of just 6,851. Yet, one of those proud residents happens to be one of the finest players in the Big Ten, leading the way for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Cassidy Spilis, Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
How was your holiday season?
It's been great. It's been really, really nice to relax with the family. How about you guys?
Good. I started school again January 2nd, so I have lost my relaxation, but it was fun while it lasted.
Yeah.
What was your favorite Christmas gift that you gave to someone?
Oh, that I gave. Oh, Lord. I don't know. To be honest, I'll give credit to my sister. She helped me a lot with the Christmas presents this year. I kind of tagged along, but you know what? My mom really enjoyed the pickleball bag that we got her. So, so that was a good one.
Awesome.
Very cool. Karson, what about you?
That's funny. Well, I normally do all of the gift giving in my family, but I leaned on my dad. We gave my dad this year. My brother really helped with this one. Like a giant knife, like a steak cutting knife, but it's like a heavy duty one that was really cool. And then that was more my brother, but then I got my stepsister this thing that you hang in the shower that's like rose and lavender. It's like dried flowers, so it makes your shower smell really good. Uncommon Goods. That was my proudest gift of Christmas, probably.
I see Cassidy nodding along, and I'm just like, I have no idea what that is.
It's like an aroma thing. It makes your shower smell.
Okay. I have a Himalayan salt lamp. I don't know if that's in the same area.
Sure.
Awesome. So we will get right into the questions. So your mom, Cassidy, played lacrosse at Millersville. Mm-hmm. She was an All-American, and she won Most Valuable Player one year. So you come from a lacrosse background. So what I'm curious about is, what's it like having a mom that you can talk lacrosse with and that also understands what goes into playing at the college level?
Yeah, it's definitely been awesome. She's one of my rocks, obviously, but her having that experience has been huge for me. She was the person who, built my entire foundation of lacrosse. She was my coach up until 8th grade, and obviously my biggest supporter since then on. And yeah, like you said, she knows what goes into it. She knows how hard it is. She knows what I do when I'm there and how hard I'm working. So it's been really awesome. I do have to give a shout out to my dad too, because he's, the second part of that, and he would kill me if I didn't, but he deserves it, obviously. So my mom was kind of like that first half, like I said, that foundation really, made me a lacrosse player. And then once I got into like higher level high school and like college, my dad's been kind of like molding me from then on, because he was actually D1 at Drexel soccer. So
go Drexel.
Yeah. So he knows what goes into it too. So having the both of them has been a huge part of who I've become.
Very cool. Shout out Sherry Spilis. I believe on last check, she follows Lacrosse Extras on Instagram.
Oh, no. When I told her I was coming on this podcast, she gasped. She was like, no, you're not. Like, she loves you guys.
Hey, thank you very much, Sherry. We love you. We love you. We love you. We love you. Also, a follow-up to that, are your parents, so I know they go to pretty much every game, especially since you're close to home. Are they the type of parents that are really loud in the stands, or are they quiet?
I can definitely hear them. I think I definitely try to hear them, but I will definitely hear them. Like, so a nickname my mom gives me is Puppy, so it's different. So I'll hear that, because not a lot of people get called that during a lacrosse game. I hear her say that, and obviously, my dad, his voice carries, so I do hear them. I do, but I'm also always like, a lot of the times before I take the draw, I'll look in the stands for them, kind of as like keep me centered. So I definitely, there's that connection during the games.
That's super cool. Puppy, that's interesting.
I know. It's a weird one.
You guys just reminded me, whenever I would like walk back to the draw circle, if we were like doing badly, like if we had a couple goals scored on the form, I would look at my dad and he would do like get it going. What are you doing? And I'd be like, I know, I'm trying. Like, you're right. I just like give him a nod.
I like instantly look up, and like, depending on how I'm doing, they're like, keep up, like, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, like the subtle thumbs up. Like,
yeah.
You did well.
It's always interesting because, like personally, I never wanted to play in front of my family members. Like obviously I only played through high school, but like I just felt so much pressure when they showed up. And of course my mom and dad would come to every game, but I'm just like, please be quiet, do not say a word, just let me focus, okay? So
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times where I'm like, oh, la 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 la, but for the most part, I love
your teammates are looking up and like, is that Sherry Spilis
Oh,
again?
they know who it is. They're like, oh, because my dad also will be the guy with the Rutgers flag, and he's like waving it
Okay.
around. Sometimes he'll get on Big Ten Network with the flag.
Okay.
Oh, they all know flag guy, and they're like, oh,
Flag guy.
I'll keep an eye on him this season. I'll be on the lookout.
oh yeah, he's took that job to heart. He's really waving that flag around.
Very cool.
Well, so David mentioned that you were close to home. So as someone who grew up in New Jersey, what's it like playing kind of at your home school, playing somewhere so close?
Yeah, it's honestly been unreal, and it's obviously my home school. I used to go to all the games growing up, so I've been dreaming about going to Rutgers since I was young. Ever since I started thinking about playing college lacrosse, which I feel like maybe you wouldn't hear from some people, because when I was getting recruited, we were ranked somewhere in the 50s or something like that. But to me, it was always Rutgers is like this huge deal. Like I would love to play there. It'd be such an honor. And ever since stepping on campus, I've always had these moments of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm actually here playing. And it's still going on to this day. So it's definitely really nice. And you mentioned, obviously, I'm close, so my parents can come to a lot of the games. Not that they don't go to the far ones, but they're there every single game, cheering for me. So that's really nice. And I can't complain if I get to go home and do laundry an hour away every once in a while. It doesn't hurt.
So you weren't one of the high schoolers that was like, I need to get away from my hometown. I need to.
I mean, not really. Maybe for a split second, maybe I'm having an argument with the parents and I'm like, I'm leaving. But for the most part, Rutgers was always there in the back of my mind, which is actually funny because they came in kind of later in my process, but I was always, thinking about them. So when I finally got the opportunity, like I had that chance, it was pretty much a no-brainer for me.
Cool. I feel like that's uncommon. Everyone always wants to go far away for college, and they get like 2 years in, and they're like, wait a minute, I actually don't like this anymore.
No, and I'm so glad. Like when I think about going other places, like I am honestly such a homebody. So like being able to be this close to home and like having my family this close to me is so awesome. So I'm really, really, really happy with my choice.
Yeah.
I'm curious so you said Rutgers came in late. If you're willing to tell us, where would you have gone if Rutgers was not in the equation?
Honestly, towards the end, it was I was pretty big on Jacksonville towards the end. They were pretty high on my list. It was kind of between the two schools, which is like, really far compared to.
I was about to say that's like across the country.
Yeah. But yeah, I was definitely pretty interested in Jacksonville.
Very cool. It's a little warmer down there, that's for sure.
A little, I know. It's the only thing missing. The only thing missing from Jersey is that warm weather. But we have the bubble, so that's nice. I mean,
yeah.
Oh, that is nice.
When it's cold.
Very
yeah,
cool.
Those are like polar opposite schools. That's funny.
Oh, I know.
You really couldn't get much different.
Yeah.
So staying with Rutgers, you played for 4 years. I believe your first year was the COVID shortened year, correct?
It was. Yep.
Okay. And now you are back in 2024 as a grad student. I'm curious, that's a big decision to make, to go back to school for another year. What went into that decision for you and deciding not just to go back to school, but to stay at Rutgers?
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because when I think about like my thought process, it really wasn't too huge of a decision. Like the moment we found out we're gonna have be able to have an extra year, I'm like, yep, 100%, no doubt. Like I'm gonna do that. And there really wasn't another thought other than going back to Rutgers for that year, honestly. And I remember having conversations with Melissa early on about it. Like that was just what my eyes were on the whole entire time. Like I said, as soon as we found out about that. So, I mean, yes, I am doing a master's program, so that helps that I'm still in school, and I get to do this for another year. But yeah, it wasn't too big of a decision. I just have so much pride in what that my program has like been building, and I love my teammates. I really couldn't imagine being with anyone else and doing what I'm doing, and they've just made my journey, and obviously my coaches too, like so special. So coming back was pretty much an easy decision, and I wanted to give back to the program that's given me so much.
Hey, that's very refreshing to hear. That is amazing. Also, you have started every single game in your career, correct?
Yes, I
That's a
have.
pretty cool fact.
It is, yeah.
She's like, yeah, I know.
No,
I'm kidding.
when you come here, like, you really don't know what's gonna happen. So I was lucky enough to, be given that trust and confidence from my coaches and teammates and be able to start since freshman year. It's definitely, I wouldn't necessarily say it's not something I expected because I've always been like, you have to be confident in yourself before anything else. So it was always something, I wanted and, I dreamt of. I wasn't doubting myself too much because you don't want to do that. And then you get those negative thoughts in there. So, but then having the support from my coaches and my teammates has been awesome.
And you stayed healthy. That's
Hey, not
great.
so much.
We've got another season.
I need one more year. Come on.
Very cool.
Well, you pretty much just set my question up perfectly because you talked about
I
how
try.
not you. I meant her answer, but
Okay, bro.
you talked about giving back to the school that's given you so much, and also just kind of what like your program was building and like trying to capitalize on what your program's been building over the years. And I wanted to touch on this, and basically now you've seen with this transfer portal and fifth year, you started to see a lot of girls like get big, and not even just in lacrosse, but a lot of sports, like they take their first 2 years somewhere, get really good, and then kind of like transfer somewhere bigger and where they can win a national championship like immediately instead of trying to build a program. And I was just wondering what your comments were about like the importance of keeping those high level players at schools that are like building a program, not necessarily have been built already.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I think about the transfer portal, I'm always going back and forth about it because there's obviously positives to it and then there's some negatives to it as well. It's kind of, I'm always going back and forth. But to answer your question, keeping those high level players at the schools, like you said, gives those programs a chance to grow, which was exactly my thought process when I was choosing to stay. Like, I put so much time and effort into this program. There wasn't really a thought of going anywhere else because I want to continue to build with this program. And I also think that keeping those high level players allows for the whole NCAA overall to just grow in competitiveness because you have so many different teams with high level players rather than just, everyone kind of going to those 5, maybe even the 10 top teams. You would just have a greater variety throughout all the teams and just greater competition. It would just raise the whole entire game.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of led you there, which with my question, sorry, it was a leading question. I try not to do that, but I was just curious.
I totally think so. I mean, like I said, I go back and forth with it. There's obviously times when the transfer portal is really, really useful and helpful, and there's situations that create a good opportunity for players. But yeah, I do think there is importance to keeping high level players.
I agree, because there needs to be competition. Those like top schools, I don't know, in my opinion, need some sort of fear that somebody could come out of nowhere. And like Navy, when they went to the Final Four randomly that one year, like they don't have those players. They can't do that. I feel like that's what keeps the game.
Top players, sorry to cut you off. Those top players or the top schools they're always going to get good players. It's not like you're not going to get players. So they're going to stay like highly ranked. And then just having those other high level players, at other schools, it was just, create a lot of good competition, a lot of good games to watch.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Also, I'll just jump in real quick and say, I was reading something last night, and with the NIL stuff going on now, you have certain players that are, and their parents are like asking for money at certain schools. And so it'll be interesting to see how that continues to develop as women's lacrosse continues to grow and continues to become more of a moneymaker sport for these universities.
Yeah, definitely.
So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully there's not too much drama, but we'll see.
That could be another reason why people are transferring to the bigger schools, because they have a better chance of getting that just occurred to me actually, that they could go be making more NIL money somewhere.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, if you go to Rutgers, you can make $100,000 a year like Cassidy Spilis. Okay, I'm just joking. Hey, if it was up to me, Cassidy Spilis would be making $100,000 a year playing lacrosse. Okay.
I'm like, that's news to me.
She's like, wait, what field did I
signed the dotted line for you, Cassidy. Don't worry about it.
And so then, sorry, I have another one. So you play in the Big Ten, which is cool, and you play a lot of good teams, which is another exciting thing, being in the Big Ten. And so coming from someone who played in the CAA, which was like kind of a cool conference. We got ourselves there, but not like the Big Ten. I'm just curious what lessons you've learned playing in a conference like that big. And then they can be lacrosse, not lacrosse related, just anything in general.
Yeah, I mean, you start with like some of the obvious ones, like going from high school to the Big Ten conference is kind of crazy. Yeah. You have to, like, the whole entire game is just up a level or 1,000 levels, and you have to learn how to play on that big stage, and it's such a popular conference, and the competition is raised, and it's like, everyone who's the top person from their high school is now on a team full of top people, and you're playing those top people. So, but that's like been the most fun part of it, is having that great competition. But as far as, like, honestly, the biggest lesson I've learned in the Big Ten conference that I've been able to apply to playing out of conference teams is that anyone can win on any given day. And so, like you mentioned, my year was the COVID year, so we only played a few games. But then the next year, which was the 2021 season, I believe, was all in conference, if you remember. So it was just Big Ten games. So win or lose, it was all Big Ten. And I think that season was the start of me learning, like, you can't be afraid of an opponent when you come into a game. This is the card you're dealt. You got to come into this game. You got to be ready for it. And anyone can win on any given day. And I think that that's been proved. Some of our most historic wins have been over these great, highly ranked Big Ten teams. And I think that myself, as well as my teammates, have been able to apply that out of conference when we play really highly ranked teams as well.
Sure. And the only way to grow, I guess, is to beat those teams. So you got to go into it with the confidence.
The loss to those teams is you're learning something,
Mm-hmm.
That's a good mindset. I like that. Which we will get into that mindset a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So I'm a few follow-up questions on the Big Ten. Where is your favorite place to play in the Big Ten minus at home? And what is your least favorite place to play?
I like to play at Hopkins, but when it's warmer. I don't really love to play there when it's colder. But I don't know why. I like, I mean, it's a great home field. It's a cool place to play. And then also, like, a pretty close runner-up, we've only played on this field, I guess, no, for the Big Ten tournament. My sophomore year, we played at the Penn State, like, the field they actually play on, but I feel like
newer one?
Yes. Yeah.
It's like 3 or 4 years old, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. But we haven't played there any other time. I don't know why. We played them, like, indoor one time. It's so weird, but we played there, like, once, and I, for some reason, really like that field. So that would be a close runner-up. And then least favorite, I'm gonna have to go Michigan. Unfortunately, I do not like playing Michigan Stadium. I don't know.
Is it just because it's, like, right up against the road, or like?
Maybe, and it's always freezing when we're there. It's just like this spray, So yeah, I don't know. There's, like, not much around either. Really, no hate to Michigan. I'll have to go when it's warm one time. I'll have to make it out there and see what it's like in the warmer weather.
Very cool. Also, Johns Hopkins, they just got a brand new turf, so that would be cool if y'all play there this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very, very bright and green. That was my.
Okay.
Karson, don't look at me like that. It's on their Instagram. Go check it out.
No. Sorry, I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at that because I was trying to remember if that was the school that had a bunch of girls tear their ACL a while ago. But I didn't say it out loud because I wasn't confident in that. I was thinking. I wasn't meaning to.
I think you're thinking about UNC.
Did they? I don't know. Or I'm thinking about an entirely different sport. It might not even be lacrosse related. That's why I didn't say it out loud. I didn't mean to have that look on my face.
Also, another thing, yes, Johns Hopkins. I've only been there once, but it's old, it's historic, it's pretty. I mean, you don't want to leave the stadium, but
I've got it, and we've had 2 girls tear ACLs on that field. That's where it is. So I can't speak for the general, but we've had 2 girls tear their ACLs.
Okay.
Sorry, continue.
Who has the best? I won't ask you for the worst one on this one. Who has the best locker rooms in the Big Ten?
Oh, jeez. Oh, I don't even know if I remember. You know what? This is just coming to mind. I feel like I can't even remember. I'm just like the pregame. I'm so, like, getting ready. The Northwestern ones were pretty nice because it's like the indoor. I feel like sometimes, with the outdoor facilities, you kind of have to makeshift a little locker room sometimes. But The Northwestern one was pretty nice. We had to squeeze a little bit. But also the Hopkins one is also pretty nice as well. That one's usually pretty big. But the Northwestern one was like in that really nice facility, so it's all polished and really nice. So yeah, gotta give them that one.
It is good to watch games, and I like their outdoor stadium because it's right on the water, but it's obviously freezing, so they only play there like a few times a year. So.
Yeah, I've never got to play there.
Do y'all have Northwestern at home or on the road this year?
We're on the road.
Okay, nice. Hopefully it's not too cold while you're there.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll be inside in their facility.
For sure. Awesome. So, not to bring up a negative, but you did mention your positive mindset earlier, and so I am curious. You've been through a lot in your college career. You went through the COVID year. That was your very first year. Obviously 2021, 2022, or 2021 was the all Big Ten schedule, like you mentioned, and then 2022 was a crazy year for Rutgers, 16-5. I think it was the most wins in program history. You beat a lot of teams that you had not beaten before, and then you were just one of the best stories in the sport. Like Rutgers came out of nowhere, and then going to last year, at least myself, I had super high expectations for Rutgers, and I was like, they're about to go crazy because you had a lot of players coming back, and I'm a big fan of Sophia Cardello and Cage. She's a beast.
Me too.
Also was a big fan of TT Nazlonsky. Hope I said her last name right. I know she's graduated now, but I loved watching her. And of course, Cassidy Spilis. I love watching Cassidy Spilis. Okay, so basically, to get to my question, 16-5 in 2022, followed it up in 2023 with an 8-9 record. So I'm curious, can you talk about your emotions going from that historic high in 2022 to what had to be a disappointing season in 2023?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously wasn't our favorite season, not what we wanted or, like you said, expected. Like weren't expecting a season like that either. But I think, in my mind, and I think we talk about this a lot as a team, there's no perfect teams. There's going to always be a season where there's turbulence, and it's kind of just what do you do from that point on. So I think the biggest thing for us coming into this year is how do we twist the story of last season into a positive and make it more so fuel to our fire rather than something to hold us back. So that's been really big for us, like in this fall. But on a personal level, I mean, someone who has played now for going on 5 years for this program as a captain of this program, in my mind, I'm always definitely taking a lot of accountability for the team and the outcome of the team. So it's definitely a challenge for me mentally, making sure that I was still being a contributor to the team and still being the leader that the team needed, and, navigating that hardship of the season and coming out of it, and how I can be a better leader coming into this season as well.
Very cool. I'm curious, is there something you can pinpoint that went wrong last season, or it was just one of those seasons where it just couldn't catch a break?
Honestly, it's funny because that was like all the conversations last year that we would be having, like what's going wrong, but I don't necessarily think it was like one thing or another. I just think it kind of just happened, and it didn't get better. I think towards the end of the season, we were working on some things and some things were getting better, but I think we just got caught up a little bit, and like I said, hit that turbulence. I really don't think it was just one thing. I think it was a few little things coming together, and that was the outcome of it.
Sure.
It's interesting to hear you say it just didn't get better, because I feel like everybody who's played sports have had that exact same mindset before, where you're like, it'll be fine, it'll click, it'll be fine, it'll click, and then it just doesn't, and then all of a sudden you have 3 games left, and you're like, wow, what just happened? Like, it didn't get better. People have had games, like seasons, like the Eagles, for example, right now. I don't know if you listen to their podcast.
Well, they just sucked. Let's just be honest. They
weren't. And now all of a sudden, Jason Kelce keeps saying, like, it'll get better. It'll get better. Just keep losing. Right. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where everybody in sports has had that exact experience. I wanted to highlight that you said that because it was funny.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And, like, the reasoning behind it is because, other seasons in the past, this is only Melissa's 4th season. She was with me, so it was my 4th season. So yeah, it was her 4th season. And we were kind of on the come up every single season, since she started. And you hit a few problems here and there, but we were always able to like recuperate and, you know, move past it. So this was really the first season where it was just not really getting better. And I feel like a lot of people don't remember that sometimes that happens and you're going to have a season like that. And the best you could do is, you know, like I said, try to turn it into a positive. Like, what can we take away from last season to make sure that doesn't happen again?
So we are going to turn this next follow-up question into a positive. Just like you mentioned, how has last season fueled you and the entire program over the off season and this fall?
Yeah. For me personally, in the off season this past summer, I wouldn't necessarily say, like, I've always been someone to go out, do the workouts, like put in the work. So not too much there has changed. Obviously, coming off of a season, there's always specific stuff you want to work on. But for the most part, it's like the motivation, like what is in the back of my mind as I'm going through those workouts, like what is pushing me to get out there and do those workouts. And I think that is kind of the same thing coming into the fall for the team. Like I said, like what's our motivation, like what's on our minds every single practice, every single fall ball game. And honestly, a big thing for us this year, and on a really positive note, has been our culture. I feel like our culture has been so different this year, which you might think coming off last season that wouldn't happen. But I feel like it was kind of, you know, kicking the ass for all of us. And we're all on the same page this year. Like, we don't want that to happen again. We want to come out of it better and be a successful team this year. And I think that also translates back to the field. And I think that early on, we've started to find a good connection and a flow. And I feel like you can see that between all the grades, like even the freshmen coming in our fall ball games. So that's been really great.
Awesome. I mean, obviously everyone wants to win, but I feel like in sports and in life, you learn the most sometimes from your failures, because when you're winning, you're not as likely to look yourself in the mirror as much and say, I need to do this better, I need to do this better. But when you lose, it's like, okay, this is like right in front of my face. I can't ignore it now. So
exactly. Yeah. And to be honest, we've always been a team that kind of loved that like underdog mentality. So I know we definitely have that back.
Yeah, you do. That's for sure.
So still going into like kind of talking about this upcoming season. You're leading the program in goals, you're top 5 in draws and points. Like, what do you feel like you have left to accomplish, and what are your personal and team goals for this year?
Yeah, obviously
Rutgers Hall of Fame coming up next.
Stop it. No. All that stuff has been super, super cool to accomplish. But really the stuff for this year left to accomplish for me is really team oriented stuff. And I feel like I'll find personal gain through that stuff. If I'd have to name an actual personal thing, I would say this year I really want to focus on having like fun. Like, it's my last year. Like, I want to have fun with my teammates. I want to have that energy every game, and I just want us to go out and like have a blast. And obviously, like I said, it being my last year, I just want to leave knowing I gave everything that I had, and there's going to be an impact that's long lasting past me. So that would be the personal aspect for me. But like I said, a lot of team oriented stuff. Obviously, I feel like I have big goals and like some sub goals as well. It's kind of like first half, second half. So my whole experience here, one of the big goals has obviously been Big Ten title, win that championship game. But in a realistic standpoint, I know first we have to get back to that championship game. We were there, was that my junior year? We got there with Maryland, unfortunately lost. So the first step is getting back to that championship game, and then what we do with that's the next goal. And it's kind of similar with the NCAA tournament as well. I want us to get really far. We've only ever made it to the second round, right? Yes. And so
beat us.
Getting past
I can confirm it was the second round.
Yeah. We would end up playing Stony Brook, but yeah, so just making it deep in the NCAA tournament, but then, you know, realizing we got to get back to the NCAA tournament. Obviously, we didn't get there last year, so that's the first step, is getting there. So I think my goals are, I have my eyes on that first step, and then it's like kind of that opportunity, and we have to take that opportunity and run with it once we get there.
I like that. I feel like, because everyone always says that, right? They're like, well, I want to win a championship.
Right.
I want to do that. Like, and you're like, that's great. So does everyone else. Like, so I like that goal I like what you just said with that a lot. I feel like focusing on getting there and then capitalizing on the opportunity, like, is a really cool way to look at it. I can respect that a lot. That's cool.
Yeah, and kind of like similar to what I said, like for my personal goal, like I've talked with the coaches so much about this. I said to the team as well, like my favorite games and the most memorable games, like obviously you have those big wins that you remember, but like just the games where I just like you feel the energy and you just feel like everything's clicking. And I felt like last year it was rare we had one of those games. Even sometimes when we won, it was like thank God that we won that game. And so I just want us to have more fun and like just feel like everything's flowing and not like we have to fight, you know, what's the skin and teeth, I don't know, to make it to that win. Yeah, sorry. I was like, wait, but to the nail.
Hey, I knew what you meant, Cassidy. I knew what you meant. It's all good.
That's what we're here for.
to make it to that win, but instead like we're just like vibing the whole game and we're having fun and like everyone like the energy, like the bench is going, we're going on the field, like it's yeah. I just want more of that for us this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think when that comes, wins come with it. So
yeah, exactly.
I have like a million follow-up questions after what you just said. So you mentioned having fun. Do you have a favorite celebration that the Rutgers sideline does?
Oh, you know what? They started to get really creative with them. They do the row the boat one's always good, and they do a benching one. I really like.
Okay.
That gets a lot of people involved. So that one's funny. I've seen so I like the rowing the boat, the benching, and then they also do this one where they're like golfing and they're like, oh, and I like that. But they get really creative with their.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I saw you kind of grimace when I started asking that question because I think you thought I was going to go in a different direction with it, and now I am going to go in a different direction with it. What is your favorite celebration that you do?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's so funny because when I like first started playing like freshman sophomore year, I would like watch the games back, and I would see myself like after a goal, and I just looked like tired and beat, and I'm like, you need to like remember to celebrate or something because you look tired and you look sad. So now it's like in my mind that I have to do it, but I don't really have one. To be honest, I'm like someone who like when I score a goal, like it's like my stick is on fire. I like have to throw it as soon as I don't know why it's in my mind. I'm like, I cannot hold on to the stick. You gotta drop the stick. Like you gotta get it out of your hand. So that's like my celebration is like chucking the stick as fast as I can. I do a lot of like, let's go. Like I guess that's my go-to. Let's go. But there's maybe I should put some work into finding a signature celly for this.
I agree. It could be like here, I throw a few out and you tell me what you think. Okay. Okay. How about the jerk?
The jerk with the bat. It's like the I do that. You know what? I'll have to remember to do it, but
okay.
And then I'll play the camera. I'll be like, this one's for David.
I feel like people always do this. Every time anybody brings up lacrosse celebrations, everyone has a million ideas, and you're like, listen, my stick dropping is my celebration. Like that counts. That feels like it. Like that is it. That's it. Everyone always has grand ideas.
When it's like a cool stick drop and I like actually throw it down hard, I'm like, that took effort. Like that. Right. I remembered to throw down my stick specifically that way. Like that was the celebration.
Yeah, you're like, I am a bat. I am cool.
Okay, Karson, I'm gonna need you to go back to mute so you don't turn down any of my other future suggestions. Okay. Okay. Well, okay. Speaking of the stick throw, I love watching a stick throw when they throw it like 20 yards and the refs have to chase it. You could do that.
Yeah. I could try. I've actually had some pretty bad luck in the past. I accidentally like hit people when I throw my. So I feel like if I went to like wind up and throw it, I'd get in trouble. Wow. I don't know why. It's like I'm so not meaning to either. Like I'm just trying to get rid of the stick. But when I go back and watch the games, I'm like you hit her. Like, what are you doing? Or sometimes I'll even catch it in the game. Like I feel it was like Georgetown. I think the beginning of the year last year. It was just like a quick stick goal or something, and I just like chucked my stick and it hit her. And I'm like, you can see, like I don't even celebrate. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay. What about the quiet the crowd?
Maybe like I think I would have to have a few goals under my belt first. Maybe if it's like third or fourth goal of the game, I could be like.
You just tap me back in when you want me to tell him to stop. You just tap me back in. I'm ready.
Hey, you can even walk by the goalie and give her the.
Oh my.
Okay.
No, I couldn't.
Okay, let's see. One more. Let's see.
Okay.
What's a good one? What's the weirdest thing you could do after scoring a goal?
You should just row your own boat. Just sit down and start rowing.
I should sit down and start rowing.
See how many
That's
people join you.
Or like, yeah, we should have like synchronized like with the girls on attack. Like, all right, this is what we're doing. Like, when they score touchdowns in football, they're like the bowling or something like that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we should start doing that.
Okay, last one. What about a cartwheel?
Okay, I could do a cartwheel. I could do a cartwheel. What might be more realistic is doing like a somersault or something, because I'm on the ground half the time anyways. So I might as well just do a somersault, get up, and be like, woo.
You could learn how to do this thing. You know the thing that people do where they're on their backs and they they can like shoot up, like they put their feet out.
Oh, yeah, they like jump up from their back.
Yeah. So it could just be a cool way of getting up, and then it could also count as a celebration.
You're right.
And you would only have to do it when you were already on the ground.
You're right.
So it's
we got some good ideas flying around.
If you're already on the ground, do something that your parents are familiar with from back in their day. Do the worm.
Oh man, I think I could do the worm. I'm a decent dancer. I don't brag, but no. Okay. But okay, all right.
You have a few, so we're gonna. I don't know. I'm gonna be watching to make sure one of these gets put into the world. Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. Very few players get to be a team captain, and I know that's a huge deal for. Doesn't matter if you're in high school, college, professional. If you get to be a team captain, that's a very big deal. And you are now a 3-time team captain. So we're gonna pause now. Karson and I are gonna clap for you. Okay, clap it up. Okay. And since you are a 3-time team captain now, I'm curious, what are your feelings on not just being a team captain once, but being a team captain 3 times?
Yeah, the best way to describe it is just that it's like such an honor to have that trust and respect instilled in you from your coaches and your teammates, and it's definitely something I don't and have never taken lightly. It's something that's, when you're a captain, it's on your mind 24/7, like on the field, off the field, at practice, games, at class. Like I'm always trying to reflect and think of ways that I can be better, what I can give to the team, how the team needs to be better, like different stuff we can be doing, how I can better connect and collaborate with the coaches and the teammate, stuff like that. And I've been lucky enough to, serve with other great captains as well, and I still am. And definitely have learned a lot. And I think I've definitely changed a lot through my captaincy. Is that the right word?
Very formal, very professional. I like that.
But yeah, like when I first got named captain, I think I was doing a lot of like observing and leading more through actions, and I've learned a lot and I've grown a lot, and I'm always continuously looking for ways to grow, and I think I've developed so much as a leader, and that comes from my coaches and my teammates too. Having that feedback from them is really, really helpful. And something that we preach on our team too is, captain or not, everyone's voice is a valuable voice. No matter what grade you're in, playing or not playing, like I said, captain or not, like your voice, we want to hear it, and we respect everyone's opinions. So I definitely don't do anything I do alone.
That's amazing. Also, I feel like being a team captain at the college level is probably the most difficult level to be a team captain, because you're around each other so much, and if you do one thing that's like kind of everyone's gonna see it. And so it's like you have to be on top of things all the time. And so that's much respect to you, because I would not want to be a team captain. I was a team captain in high school, and I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. And he's like, suck it up, you little. So anyways, so yeah, it's a lot of pressure being a team captain. So
yeah. I mean, there's definitely highs and lows to it. There's sometimes you got to do stuff that's the hard stuff to do, but I would say for the most part, it's just a great experience.
Very cool. Hopefully Sophia Cardello doesn't make you yell at her too much by not going all the way to the end line during sprints, okay?
So, for someone who's played lacrosse, you've played lacrosse since kindergarten, by the way?
I have. It was called scoopers in kindergarten.
Crazy. That's so young.
I know. I was playing soccer around then too. They definitely got us involved early.
Yeah.
Start them young, raise them right.
Yeah. My dad started me in soccer young, and then I was too much of an embarrassment because I wasn't doing it right. So I was like, "You're done with this. I can't have you on the field." Oh, anyway, so you've been playing since kindergarten, which is crazy. That's how many years? Like 20?
You're not supposed to make our guests feel old, Karson. Do better.
I'm not making your listen. When you're in your 20s, you can't feel old.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Yeah. Well, how old are you when you're in kindergarten? Maybe
I don't
like
know. 4?
might be like 6-ish.
Five?
So 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16,
17, 16? Okay.
17.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking you were like 2 in kindergarten. You're not 2.
What in the world?
Listen, I don't know kids. I'm not around them ever. Anyway, so long story short, you've been playing lacrosse for a very long time, and now you're going into your final collegiate season. What are the emotions behind that?
Oh, so sad.
Besides sad.
It's like it's crazy. Like when you're in the like mix of it all, you just like never think it's actually gonna happen, and it's like I feel like having the COVID year has made that even like worse for me because I'm like last year was my senior year, but the whole year I'm like, yeah, but I got a whole nother year.
Doesn't count. Yeah.
But now this year it's actually the last year. So yeah, I'm trying not to focus on the end too much. I want to enjoy this whole entire season and have fun with my teammates, but it's definitely crazy. And yeah, I don't know if there's any way to continue playing here or there after this season. I think I would definitely love to do that in some capacity at all, or just stay around the game in general. I think that I'm definitely interested in looking into a coaching career as well. I think that's something that would be really, really fun and really cool and a good experience. So yeah, I think I'll hang around a little bit. I'm not leaving. I'm not trying to, just dump lacrosse in the past anytime soon, for sure.
Would you coach at the college level?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. If they'll have me.
You should come down to Mercer University, okay? My alma mater. We would love to have you. I'll just text coach right now and be like, I just hired an assistant coach for you.
Oh, perfect.
Cassidy's like, I don't know where that is.
I'm getting
no.
$100,000. I'm getting a coaching job. Great interview.
And Karson, don't ever disrespect Mercer University. She knows where it is. It's in the state of Georgia, okay? Also, I'm curious. Were you recognized on senior day last year, or are you waiting till this year since this will be your last year?
We still walked like we were still recognized. Me and Jess at the like banquet we had this fall where they like give us like framed jerseys and they talk about every senior. We didn't get recognized there, so we'll be recognized at the next fall. But we still got, like senior day, we still got to walk with our parents, which was awesome.
Awesome. I'm curious, are you the emotional type? Will you be bawling at the banquet next year, or what?
I'll tell you what, my mom will be. But yeah, I definitely am. I don't know. I guess maybe like it depends on how I'm feeling that day, but I definitely am. I'm sure my last game I'll probably be a wreck when that final whistle blows. But it's like I said, I kind of have like that mental block because it's never felt like it's actually been real that it's ending. So like at this point in time, I'm like, oh, it's because I don't actually think it's gonna end, and I'm being silly, but it is going to end
forever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna play forever. But yeah, I'm sure when the time comes, I'll definitely get quite emotional.
Very cool. Timing is a weird thing, and like time in general, like you're a freshman in 1 year and you're like, I can't wait for this practice to be over because I've just had enough of this, and then one day you're gonna be like, oh, I wish I could go back, so
I know. And it was like the whole thing too was weird because like we talked about, it was like cut short for COVID, and then like a weird season the next year, and then so it was my junior year by the time I had like a legit full season. So it hasn't felt like I don't know, played as I don't know. Like the seasons have been so weird. So I still feel like a freshman.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I feel like you never really get over that. You're like,
No.
I'm still a freshman. I'm not going anywhere. And then all of a sudden you're like, I guess I'm done.
Yeah.
It will also, I feel like, depend on what your last game is. Like, I remember ours was Stony Brook, and I was like, I want to be out of here so bad. I would sell my left arm.
Oh my God.
And then, but then it was also my last game. So I was like, wait, that was sad. But also, I literally want to be done so bad. But like,
yeah.
It sucks.
My last game in high school was like a similar experience. It was like, you're in like the bracket play, and it was obviously we weren't going to win at that point, and I forget who it was. It might have been like Ocean City or something, and it was like, we were just like grasping for straws by the end of it, and I was like, oh man, I don't know.
That's the hard thing about seasons. They always they have to end unless you win the national championship. Like your last game will be a loss. That's horrible.
I know, that's terrible.
Such a horrible way to go out. Oh, so now you're like, I'm crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I'm done. I'm crying
Just crying.
because we lost.
Yeah.
Hey, I would not recommend this, but you could intentionally lose like the first 12 games and then go on a win streak to end the season, and then you'll go off on a win.
True, I guess.
Because even if you win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Then you go to the NCAA tournament anyway.
Karson, go back to muted, please. Okay, jeez.
Just saying, it's a sad truth in sports. I don't like it. There's no way around it.
That's just how it goes. So anyways, Cassidy, we have loved having you on. Hopefully can we call you a friend of the show now?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Guys, I'm always on your page. I'm always looking at the stuff you're posting. I love it. If I'm like missing lacrosse one day, or like I'm going out to the field and I want to like look at some moves or something, I'll like watch the clips from games that you post. I watch.
Awesome. Hey, actually, before I let you go, I need to get your thoughts on this. So I think it was 2 years ago you played at Michigan, and we posted a clip.
Oh,
when
I was thinking about this today. So running to my teammate.
Yes, and they called, and the official blew the whistle and called a foul on Michigan, and Rutgers got the ball.
Yes, I think I commented on it. I think I might have commented on it. I'm like, well,
that's an all-time clip right there. Karson, I don't know if you've seen it, but I'll send it to you.
I haven't. I'll have to watch it. I was just waiting for someone to clue me in.
Actually, it might be Jess Beneducci, who's still there with me, who like took her 5th year as well, that I think I ran into.
You bumped into her?
I'll take it. Why not?
You bumped into her. She fell down. There was a whistle, and you're looking around like, what's the whistle for? Oh my god!
Fell it a little bit. I'm like, oh my god, wow, what a foul.
Maybe we'll reshare that on Instagram before we share this podcast.
Promote. Do you guys remember this clip from
Cassidy Spilis went viral? Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure there's people in the comments too who are probably like, oh my god, flop. What happened?
Stupid idiot. What is she doing?
Wow.
You probably can get a little brutal in the comments sometimes, don't
you? Hey, but it is what it is. I know.
I just laugh at it.
In the comment section, I'm like, really? You could take time out of your day. Come on.
Haters gonna hate, man.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We are super excited to watch you this season. I'm sure we'll be in touch on Instagram.
Yeah.
And hey, now typically how it goes, whenever we have someone on the show, then I start sending them Instagram messages. So if you ever get annoyed with me, I apologize. But I do see you as a friend now. So
message away.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your break and best of luck this season.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. This was so much fun.